I am the reformer. In this today world, we live in what I call the era of madness, especially in the West, because people have devolved themselves and caused now the decline of the West. We're creating such silly notions as transgender or gender fluid, which is all just sound ridiculous terms and all made up. Because there is only two genders, male and female, and the third is an anomaly. Anyone knows this, or everyone knows this, or should know it, because it is basic biology. And within the West, especially in the media, it's become especially more biased and politically agented over time. Also, there's a mass hysteria now and drama and making big deals over little things. People have lost their sensibility, their common sense, and their basic knowledge. Truly is the decline of the West, because people are becoming dumber, more radicalized, filled with distrust and anger. There is so much more anger in this world today, especially in the West. But with this anger could come from different sources. Is it because the new suburbia, where since there's less space between buildings and accommodations? Is that simply more people in the world? I assume this era madness has caused some new interesting circumstances, since the increase of white hatred against whites being the majority in their own countries have significantly increased. Most of people and whites, particularly, are filled with guilt and apologetic of what's happened in the past. To move forward is not to be constantly be spineless and be apologetic to everything. To move forward is to make sure you don't make the same mistakes of the past and fix the problems of the future and move on from the mistakes of the past. Constantly apologizing doesn't make up. Constantly apologizing does nothing. It's just words being spitting around the hopes to please some other people who are not even your own goddamn race. And so another ridiculous thing has come up since 2 years ago, when someone created a glorious piece of white piece of paper with a simple text of "It's okay to be white." Of course, seems pretty harmless enough, but the reactions from it was very accusing of being racist and discriminatory, when it's simply just stating the obvious. It neither supports or discriminates. It's simply saying it's okay to be white. It's the same as saying it's okay to be black. It's the same meaning. But no, this is considered racism. And only recently, in this year, in the Commonwealth of Australia, they posted a statement in the Senate of "It's okay to be white." Of course, when I heard about this, I couldn't help to laugh, because I'm surprised this funny little motion that occurred over in the United States of America is now happening in the Senate of the Parliament in the Federal Parliament of Australia, which is quite something. But of course, of this, the notorious Green Party, with their values and policies designed to destroy Australia and its values and its inhabitants, with their foolish ideas, constantly criticizing. Of course, that is very stereotypical of today politics. It's all about criticism. Green Party criticizing everyone. First Nation doing their interesting approaches because of their party leader and founder. And then we also got a Liberal and Labour Party that constantly criticize each other over every little thing. In this today world, we don't have no effective political parties or leaders. There's the same role Western nations comes to the leadership, such as the prime ministers in Australia, Canada, and Britain, including weak leaders in New Zealand as well, and the president in the United States is quite something. It's a sure sign that the democracies of the West are declining. They no longer have effective leaders to vote. Well, in the most powerful parties there is. For effective democracy to work, you need to have a strong government and a strong opposition. But if the government is the minority and the opposition is divided into many independent smaller parties, then democracy itself doesn't really work. Because it requires they all need to agree on a single motion for a bill to pass. Plus, when there's many more voices and divided political voices as well, it slows the whole system down. Thus, you get a weaker democracy. And since these days, instead of parties working together to achieve easily sensible goals or have shared interests, no longer a thing, because they all desire to oppose each other. Instead of working out alternate deals and cooperation that will benefit both of the major parties. Of course, these days, no one wants to work together. Yes, with this decline of these hysteria, these groups like to cause hysteria and drama, and now increasing their power and influence over people. And if you criticize against these people, well, because of their criticism, they get called as a bigot, a racist, or even a sexist, which is completely false, but also ridiculous in itself. Also, these groups have so much power and sway now. There's some reporting the demands. They're unrealistic, ridiculous demands. In the state of Tasmania, there was an article about how soon the Parliament will be discussing about removing gender from the birth certificate. What? How is that even a big deal? That's a minor deal. Everyone gets their gender put on the birth certificate. It says right there what gender you are when you're born. This isn't about your flipping gender fluid stuff. People aren't water. You're born as a gender, and you have to deal with that fact if you don't like. Most people do. Of course, there's some who have the money and decide to change their gender because of the wealth they earn and selfish desire to fight against nature and your own genetics. Should accept the way you are born. You were born that way. Accept it. And how you do with and deal with it, well, it is completely up to you. But some take it. Also, false evidence in media. How when they keep judging in Australian media, and some green politicians, of course, are criticizing Christian schools for not accepting gay students, which I find a bit odd because I went to a Christian primary and high school, and they didn't care if you're gay or not. They're there to educate people, not to judge or point out someone's sexual preference. What is this madness? Because it's just portraying the agendas of certain groups. Especially with the media. They always have some political agenda. Particularly in Australia. How an ABC and SBS always support certain groups. How particularly with the SBS, you can tell they've been changed their attitude over time to support certain groups and criticizing others. Such as when they did an article about Antifa, Now he said what they were about, not exactly what they've done wrong. And so, it's like in the ABC, they showed a whole article about ethical flowers. What? How could flowers be ethical? It's something you buy as seeds or plants and put them in your garden. That's no big deal. That's just normal life. Can people stop being ridiculous? And how's that even a newsworthy thing to talk about? Flowers? People grow them. People own them. No big deal. And yet people still stress over little things. From little things, big things come when there shouldn't be big things. As the saying goes, making mountains out of molehills. What is annoying, you'd say, is about certain groups of people. Well, those who want multiculturalism, who's part of this whole transgender, gender fluid movement. Or these people like to cause hysteria and drama to the masses who usually have just common sense. Because the general person, a normal person, a usual person, have enough common sense to say this is ridiculous. But the one thing they can't deal with is the pressure those with power put on them. Of course, these people who says they're in the mark of progress are in fact hindering humanity and the nation and the people who live in their nation, particularly in the Western countries such as Britain, France, Australia, New Zealand, America, and Canada. What is conceived as the pinnacles of civilization, or the highest tips of moral democracy, the nations known as the pinnacles of democracy. They say they are progress, but they only desire to cause the decline of the West, to criticize and recommend it, because they are angry and angry for no real good reason. Only angry because their own selfish desires have not been fully realized. They crave a utopia which cannot exist. For utopias don't exist. It's evident of that. Look at communism. They say they will create a workers' utopia. Did that happen? No. It caused millions of people to die in Russia and the surrounding former members of the Soviet Union and in the People's Republic of China. There is no utopia, but you can achieve somewhere close to one. One society that gives you enough benefits and relaxations and you don't feel like you're oppressed. I refuse to bow down to this new conform, this new society of these multiculturalists and gender fluid people. These hippies refuse to bow down and conform to their society. I stand up and rise against what they support and what they believe is the undeniable truth. It's not the undeniable truth. It is a fantasy, a uniform. We need to be pragmatic and more realistic and be actually progressive. Because they aren't progressive. They only seek to cause people to become backward, become the West to go back. Anyway, I am the reformer and have a good evening or day.